3 years ago, after losing my father, I inherited the small suburban house he'd built with his own 2 hands. Along with it came one surprise, the skeleton of that Rolls Royce, buried in the side garage, half forgotten under boxes and dust. Dad always said, "One day, son, we'll bring her back to life." He never got the chance. So I decided I would. But nothing in this neighborhood came easy, especially not with Karen, the HOA president, living right next door. The first day I rolled the Silver Cloud onto my driveway, she came storming over in her pink bathrobe, clutching a coffee mug that said, #WALife. "Excuse me," she barked, pointing like a traffic cop, "what is that thing doing out here?" "It's a restoration project," I said calmly, pulling off the tarp. "My dad's car. I'm finally finishing what he started." Her lips tightened. "Projects like that belong in workshops, not driveways. This is a neighborhood, not a scrapyard." I wanted to snap back, but I remembered my father's words, "Stay calm. Let your work speak for you." So I just smiled. "It won't be a scrapyard when I'm done." Karen scoffed. "We'll see about that," and she stomped back to her house, dialing someone on her phone before she even reached her porch. That was the first of many complaints. Over the next few weeks, I got HOA notices for unsightly equipment, noise disturbances, and inappropriate vehicle storage. Every letter had Karen's signature at the bottom, printed neatly like a dagger dipped in perfume. Still, I kept working. I replaced the cracked windshield, sanded down the rust, and ordered parts from all over the world: a grill from London, leather from Italy, wood trim from an old workshop in California. Every night, I worked under the porch light until the crickets stopped singing. And every morning, Karen stood there, sipping her coffee, glaring like she was watching a crime in progress. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. I came home from work and found my garage door open. The Rolls Royce, my father's car, was half out of the driveway, its hood popped open. Karen and 2 men in HOA polos stood there, clipboards in hand. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted, running across the yard. Karen turned, smiling that fake neighborly smile. "We're performing a compliance inspection. Your vehicle has been determined to be in violation of community standards." "Violation?" I snapped. "You broke into my garage." "It's not your garage if it's visible from the street," she said, parroting some twisted rule from the HOA bylaws. "And frankly, this car is lowering property values. It's been sitting here for months." I could feel my pulse hammering. "You had no right to touch it." One of the men, clearly uncomfortable, muttered, "Karen, maybe we should." She raised her hand. "Quiet, sir. If this vehicle isn't moved immediately, it will be towed." I stepped between her and the car. "You touch this car again, and I'll have you towed, in cuffs." She gasped, like she'd just been assaulted by words. "Excuse me, are you threatening an HOA officer?" "Call it what you want," I said, locking the garage. "But next time you break into my property, it'll be criminal trespass." Karen stormed off, red-faced, muttering something about community standards and filthy junk. But her eyes said it all. She wasn't done. 2 days later, I came home to find a bright orange sticker on my garage door, "Notice of Vehicle Abatement." It stated that my abandoned vehicle would be removed in 72 hours unless I provided proof of ownership. I laughed bitterly. She wanted proof. She'd get proof. I spent the next evening pulling out every document I had: the deed, the title, even the original registration with my father's signature. The next morning, I marched to the HOA office with a folder so thick it could stop a bullet. Karen was there, of course, sitting behind the front desk like she owned the place. "I'm here to clear up your little misunderstanding," I said, sliding the papers across. She barely looked at them. "Oh, I'm afraid it's out of my hands now. The board already voted. The vehicle's being removed tomorrow." I leaned forward. "You voted without due notice, without review, and without cause. That's illegal." Her smirk faltered for the first time. "You wouldn't understand how HOA governance works." "Actually," I said, pulling out another document, "I do. Because I just contacted the county registrar." She frowned. "This neighborhood was annexed after my father's property was built. Our lot was never formally included in your HOA's jurisdiction. Which means," I paused, savoring the moment, "you have no authority here." Her jaw dropped. "That's not possible." "It's not only possible," I said, pointing to the map stamp with the county seal, "it's law. My property, and everything on it, is legally exempt." She blinked, her face turning pale. So if you ever step foot on my property again, Karen, it won't be a violation of community rules. It'll be a violation of trespassing laws. Her voice trembled. You can't just. Oh, I can. And one more thing, I leaned closer. You'll be hearing from my lawyer about that inspection. The security camera footage caught everything. That night, for the first time in months, I slept peacefully. But the war wasn't over yet. A week later, just as I was polishing the newly painted Silver Cloud, a tow truck pulled up in front of my house. The driver stepped out, clipboard in hand. Got a call from the HOA. Said there's an unauthorized vehicle here. I laughed in disbelief. Of course she did. Sir, I'm just doing my job, he said apologetically. I handed him a printed copy of the legal exemption and the county letterhead. Then your job today is to drive away. He read it, nodded, and said, yeah, no way I'm touching that. Sorry, man. Karen came running down the street, waving papers like a madwoman. You can't just. He's violating community. The driver interrupted her. Ma'am, this isn't HOA property. You got the wrong jurisdiction. She froze, the color draining from her face as the tow truck drove off. From that day on, she never spoke to me again. But she didn't have to. The entire neighborhood knew. Word spread fast. Karen tried to seize a car she didn't even have authority over. In me, I kept working. After months of sanding, welding, painting, and polishing, the Silver Cloud was finally reborn. The deep midnight blue shimmered under the sun, the chrome gleamed like mirrors, and the engine purred like it had been waiting for this day for decades. The day I rolled it out of the garage, neighbors came out one by one, drawn by the sound, that smooth, elegant hum of British engineering. Even the quiet old couple from across the street clapped as I backed it into the driveway. Karen peeked out from behind her blinds, watching in silence as I opened the car door and placed a small brass plaque on the dashboard. For Dad, she rides again. Then I did something I'd dreamed of since I was a kid. I took it for a drive down the main road, sunlight glinting off the hood ornament, wind whipping past my face. The Silver Cloud glided like a memory made real, smooth, powerful, timeless. I drove past the HOA office, slowing just enough for Karen to see me through the window. Her face tightened, her hand clutching her mug so hard I thought it might shatter. I smiled, tapped the horn twice, a gentle, dignified sound, and drove away. Sometimes revenge doesn't need shouting. Sometimes it's the quiet rumble of a restored engine, the reflection of sunlight on polished chrome, and the knowledge that you won, not just over a petty neighbor, but over the past itself. My father's dream lived again. And no HOA, no Karen, and no rulebook could ever take that away.